Picture this: a quiet town in Vermont, 2014. A 92-year-old janitor named Ronald Reed dies alone, leaving behind a tattered jacket and a beat-up Toyota. Everyone thought he was just an ordinary man, scraping by on a modest paycheck. But when his will was read, jaws hit the floor. This janitor wasn't poor, he was worth $8 million. How did a man who scrubbed floors for a living pull this off with one bold move? Stick around, because this story will change how you see money forever. Ronald Reed wasn't born with a silver spoon. Raised in a dirt-poor farming family in Dummerston, Vermont, he walked or hitchhiked 4 miles to school every day during the Great Depression. He was the first in his family to graduate high school, but college? Out of the question. World War II called, and Ronald served as a military policeman in Italy, North Africa, and the Pacific. When he came home in 1945, he took a job pumping gas at a local station. For 25 years, he filled tanks, fixed cars, and lived quietly. Then, he became a part-time janitor at JCPenney, mopping floors until he retired at 76. To everyone in Brattleboro, Ronald was just a humble, hard-working guy. He wore flannel shirts held together with safety pins, drove a used 2007 Toyota Yaris, and sipped coffee at Friendly's. Once, a stranger paid for his breakfast, thinking he couldn't afford it. But Ronald had a secret, a bold move nobody saw coming. So, what was Ronald's bold move? It wasn't a lottery ticket or a shady deal. It was a decision he made decades earlier. To live frugally and invest every spare penny in the stock market. Ronald didn't just save money, he turned it into a fortune through the power of compounding. He read the Wall Street Journal daily at his local library, studying companies like Wells Fargo, Procter & Gamble, and Colgate-Palmolive. He didn't chase hot stocks or day trade. Instead, he bought shares in solid companies and held them for decades. For example, in 1959, he bought 39 shares of Pacific Gas and Electric for $2,380. By 2014, those shares were worth over $10,000. That's just one stock. Ronald owned 95 different stocks, with a portfolio so diversified that even the 2008 Lehman Brothers collapse barely dented his wealth. His friend Mark Richard said if Ronald earned $50 a week, he invested $40 of it. That's discipline most of us can't imagine. $2, $3.80 in 1959 equals $10,735 in 2014. Ronald's life was a masterclass in frugality. He drove to his family's homestead to chop firewood for his stove, wore second-hand clothes, and parked far from meters to save quarters. He wasn't cheap, he was strategic. Every dollar he didn't spend went into his investments, growing quietly over 50 years. When Ronald died in June 2014, his family and neighbors braced for a modest inheritance. Maybe a few $1,000s, right? Wrong. His estate was valued at $8 million. His stepson, Philip Brown, told the Brattleboro Reformer, "We were tremendously surprised." He was a hard worker, but nobody had a clue he was a multimillionaire. Ronald's safe deposit box held stock certificates stacked 5 inches high. But here's the kicker: he didn't hoard his wealth. Ronald donated $4.8 million to Brattleboro Memorial Hospital and $1.2 million to Brooks Memorial Library. The man who drank 1 coffee a day at Friendly's transformed his community with his fortune. The library's director called it transformative. The hospital planned major upgrades. Ronald's bold move wasn't just about building wealth, it was about leaving a legacy. So, what can we learn from Ronald Reed? First, you don't need a big salary to build wealth. Ronald earned a modest income but lived far below his means, saving and investing consistently. Second, patience is power. His millions came from holding stocks for decades, letting compounding work its magic. Third, knowledge is free. Ronald didn't have a finance degree, he used his library card and the Wall Street Journal to learn. And finally, wealth isn't about flaunting it. Ronald lived happily, chopping wood, collecting stamps, and helping others. His story proves you don't need to be a CEO or win the lottery. One bold move, living frugally and investing early, can change everything. Start small, stay patient. Ronald's story isn't just about money. It's about discipline, purpose, and the courage to make choices others won't. As the Wall Street Journal put it, Ronald's frugality and patience gave him Many years of compounded growth. You can do this too. Start small, save consistently, and invest for the long haul. Have you ever made a bold financial move? Drop it in the comments. I'd love to hear your story. If Ronald Reed's journey inspired you, hit that subscribe button for more stories that spark your drive. Share this video with someone who needs a push to start investing. And check out the link in the description for a free budgeting app to kickstart your own journey. Let's make every dollar count. See you in the next story.